We haven't seen a subprime borrower meltdown of this magnitude since the last financial crisis, Michael Snyder reports, and it's happening again. All over America, borrowers are getting behind on their payments. In particular, subprime borrowers are having a very difficult time paying the bills. Does that ring a bell? That should, because the last time we witnessed anything like this was during the last financial crisis. When things start to go bad, those at the bottom of the economic food chain feel it first, and that is why the numbers that have been coming out lately are so alarming. For example, the percentage of subprime borrowers that are at least 60 days behind on their auto loans reached 6.11% last month. That figure is the highest ever recorded. The percent of subprime auto borrowers at least 60 days past due on their loans rose to 6.11% in September, the highest in data going back to 1994 according to the Fitch ratings. The subprime borrower is getting squeezed, said Margaret Rowe, Senior Director with Fitch. Let that sink in for a moment. We never saw a number this high during the Great Recession, and we never saw a number this high during the COVID pandemic, so this is really bad. Credit card delinquency rates at small banks have also hit an all-time record high. Credit card delinquency rates at small banks have reached 7.51%, the highest level ever recorded. Once again, we never saw a number this high during the Great Recession, and we never saw a number this high during the COVID pandemic. Needless to say, it is not the wealthy that are getting behind on their credit card payments. Instead, it's ordinary Americans that are deeply struggling to pay the bills in this harsh economic environment. Alarmingly, early-stage mortgage delinquencies are also spiking. Meanwhile, early-stage delinquencies 30 and 60 days past due continue to increase. In September, 48,800, that's over 5.1%, additional borrowers were 30 days late on their mortgage payments, while 8,700, that's over 3%, were 60 days late on their mortgage payments. These rates have been going up for the past 4 months and 6 months respectively. And foreclosures have started to jump at a pace that's absolutely breathtaking. Home foreclosures are on the rise as Americans continue to grapple with the ongoing cost of living crisis. That is according to a new report published by real estate data provider Atom, which found that foreclosures filings, which includes default notices, scheduled auctions, and bank repossessions, surged 28% in the third quarter to 124,539. Foreclosures are up 34% from that same time a year ago. And just like we witnessed in 2008-2009, millions upon millions of Americans have gotten way too overextended. They've gotten way too overextended, even though everyone knew that the cost of living was rising much faster than paychecks were. A lot of people out there just kept spending like they always had been. They thought that things would eventually work out okay in the long run, but instead they just kept getting deeper and deeper into debt. Now a day of reckoning has arrived, and there are many that simply cannot keep up with all of their payments, and many are falling out of the middle class altogether. In all my years of writing, I've never seen poverty increase in the United States as fast as it's rising right now. Recently, we learned that the percentage of Californians living in poverty jumped from 11% in 2021 to 16.4% last year. So you can imagine what it's going to be this year. Poverty has increased dramatically in California, and the nation, a surge that new studies attributes to the expiration of pandemic-era federal relief programs such as the expanding child tax credit. The spike has been particularly steep among Black and Latino Californians and children across all ethnicities. Researchers found 16.4% of Californians were living in poverty last year, up from 11% in 2021. The rate of child poverty more than doubled last year. What will the final number for 2023 be? Will it be above 20%? The economy is moving in the wrong direction very rapidly now, and the war in the Middle East has not even fully erupted yet. So what in the world will conditions look like once that happens? Our economic prosperity is completely and utterly dependent on cheap energy, and without it, everything will change. Once the flow of Middle Eastern oil stops due to the war, the price of oil is going to go completely nuts. And once that happens, a nightmare scenario could quickly unfold. In a recent article, Tuomas Melinen detailed what he thinks might happen. 1. The conflict escalates into a regional war with the US becoming directly involved. 2. OPEC responds with an oil embargo. 3. Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz. 4. The price of oil reaches $300 a barrel. 5. Europe succumbs into a full-blown energy crisis due to liquid natural gas shortage. 6. Massive spike in energy prices reinvigorates inflation with central banks responding accordingly. 7. Financial markets and the global banking sector collapse. 8. Debt crisis engulfs the U.S., forcing the Federal Reserve to enact yet another financial market bailout. 9. Petrodollar trade collapses. 10. Hyperinflation emerges. I don't think that he's too far off the mark. We're already facing a major crisis even without the war in the Middle East. And as I discussed the other day, U.S. banks are closing hundreds of branches and are laying off thousands of workers. And the truth is that banks are the beating heart of our entire financial system. We are so close to a full-blown economic meltdown. And the only thing that can really save us now is if peace broke out in the Middle East. Unfortunately, that's not going to be a time of peace. This is going to be a time of war. So that means that extremely harsh economic conditions are ahead of us, and most Americans are completely and utterly unprepared for such a reality. And this is by Michael Snyder. He says about the author, my name is Michael, and my brand new book entitled End Times is now available on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 6 other books available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing, and one way that you can really help is by sending copies as gifts to family and friends. Time is short and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I have also started a brand new Substack newsletter, and I encourage you to subscribe so you won't miss any of my articles. I have published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, The Most Important News, and the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge that you invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. And this is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.